Hey, welcome everyone. Hey, I just want to give a huge shout out to our newest sponsor, Emergo Academy. These guys are the leaders in the brain first approach to recovery. I've taken the training myself, and I'm telling you, Dave and Susan Kinney will change the way that you see your life and also see healing. It has completely changed the way I look at my life, and I use a lot of the tools today, even though I've been certified as a crisis and recovery coach. I use a lot of these tools in my everyday life. So, just so you guys know, recovery isn't just about willpower, it's about rewiring the brain. Even if you're not planning to be a coach, what you will learn could completely transform
Mm.
your life. Emergo Academy, because recovery is a brain thing. And I highly, highly recommend taking a look at these guys at emergoacademy.com. Thank you guys for popping in on another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. Today, with my guest, Liz Ward, we're going to be talking about I wouldn't be the woman I am today if it wasn't for my creator. I'm really looking forward to this discussion because I can already feel my emotions kicking in
Mm.
because hundreds of people that I've interviewed on this podcast has fallen to a higher power, whatever that higher power is for them. Some it's not God, it's something different. That's okay. Mine is God for me. So I'm really curious to listen to Liz's story because I tell you what, I really do feel that God saves a lot of us so we can stay here and help others that are going through the same thing. So, Liz, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with me today.
Thank you very much.
So, I know some of your story. You've shared it with me. Plus, I read a little bit in your bio. What was that aha moment for you that you're going, there is somebody out there greater than me that's leading me down a different path, and I'm pretty sure I need to follow it.
So, right before I got arrested, I I prayed for my kids during my whole addiction, but right before that, I was praying to my creator to save me. I knew I couldn't be where I was at, but I couldn't leave. So I ended up getting arrested, and it took me away from him. And this time I knew, this time I got arrested, I wasn't getting out. And so, but being away from this man saved my life. And I knew that was in my creator's hands. And then I went and had an NA meeting. Never, didn't even know about recovery meetings. And the topic was on second chances and a new life. I think I cried the whole meeting. And I got back to my cell and I hit my knees and I knew that my creator was forgiving me. And from then and there, our relationship grew tremendously. So,
Isn't it crazy how that works out? Because I've heard so many different stories that lead to that same thing. You know, my 8 year weekend cocaine and alcohol use, I remember so many times going in the bathroom, looking in the mirror, and going, God, please help me.
yeah,
Even though I only did it 2 days a week, I was doing a lot in two
yeah.
days. I knew it was taking me down a bad road. I was 198 pounds, the most I've ever
Mm.
weighed. I had a double chin. I couldn't see my toes if I looked down because my belly was sticking out. And I just knew something bad could happen.
Yeah.
And I lost a 24-year career because of it. And I remember it took me a while. I've always believed in God.
Yeah.
It took me a while to hit my knees. And when I did, I remember just kneeling at the edge of my bed, just bawling, just sobbing. I don't even know how long I was there. It felt like a half hour or more. I don't
Mm.
even know if it was that long. Yeah. But again, it's almost like you get that feeling. I can't even really explain the feeling, but there's a different direction you're supposed to
Yeah.
go. And even though you're not for sure, and maybe it was the same way for you that you're not
Mhm.
for sure, it seems like he starts putting those breadcrumbs out there for you to
Yeah.
Did the same thing happen to you?
Yes, it did.
Wow.
It's like a warmth over my body that I knew my life was so cold and so dark, but in that moment, like I released everything. I let him know exactly how I was feeling cuz the God I knew growing up, I was I was not going to heaven. So I didn't think I could be forgiven. And in that moment, like I don't know if it was somebody holding me or what it was, but I was warm and I knew that life would be changing.
Wow. It's an amazing feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It really is. I mean, we get little fuzzies and warm feelings when someone that we love and care about hugs us, right?
Mhm,
Puts their arm around us or sits down and consults us. But when it comes to that, it's almost amplified by 1,000%.
for sure. It definitely is.
Yeah. So once that moment hit, I mean, you said you was looking at a long time in
Yep.
prison. What happened from there? Because apparently he took your hand right then and there at that moment, and things started changing for you.
So I kept telling, I had multiple court hearings and my judge was not letting me out because of my charges. And so it was for like 2 or 3 weeks. I kept getting phone numbers to treatment centers and rehabs and calling them and trying to get a spot just in case. And my dad finally got a hold of one that said they will hold the bed as long as they need to. Um, and I went into this court hearing and not expecting the result I got. And I said, I have a bed here. It's in Midway. They will hold it as long as they need to for when I can get out. And she was like, I'm giving you one chance. And if you come back, you will do the full time. It was I didn't even know what to say to her. I think I froze, but I was like, I get to go out. I get to get out of here. I get to not be in here. I knew I had more in my life, and so I was fighting for it. And I fought and I won.
Awesome. That's got to be one hell of a feeling,
It
knowing
was.
that you wanted it bad enough to where you just said, "This is it. I'm giving it everything that I have," because you have a backing, right? You have the greatest power there is behind you.
Yes. Yes. I feel that like for me, my creator knows my heart. He knows my intentions and what I really want in life. And with it being honest and pure with him, he sees that. And so he is willing to reap those rewards, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. And it's still hard for us to understand because unfortunately, knowing a lot of the people that I've known since I've gotten into the recovery community a little over 4 years ago, there have been quite a few that hasn't made it.
Yeah.
My my past wife, same thing, right? She didn't
Mhm.
make it. Now, luckily, as far as we know, it wasn't the addiction that took her,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it had a part of it because of
Mhm.
health reasons. Because we know we're not healthy when we're using. We're definitely not healthy.
Nope.
Our body's weak, our immune system is weak. It's still hard for us to understand why there are those that have left, that didn't quite make it. Because my version is God leaves behind so many of us
Yeah.
to be the angels now that are walking amongst everyone else, putting our hand out, going, "What can I do to help you?" Or
Yeah.
just be an ear to listen to, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, I'm sure there are people now that get a hold of you or
Yeah.
contact you, say, "Liz, I'm in a bad spot. I'm dark right now. What can I do? Can I just talk to you?" And I'm sure you're
Yeah.
there.
Yes. Always.
And that's got to be a great feeling for you.
Yeah. Never did I think I would be in a position where I could give back with how broken I was.
Yeah. For me, Liz, this is where I had really such a hard time. If someone like yourself reached out to me, I mean, I had someone reach out to me on Messenger yesterday that I think lives in Heber and was talking
Mm,
about how life is being hard, and they were thinking about maybe taking a handful of pills,
mm,
sleeping pills, and I have all this empathy and I have all this passion, and I want to be there to help them any way that I possibly can, even if just they just want me to sit and listen.
yeah.
But when I found with my wife, it was totally different.
Mm,
I would get so angry. And I question myself to this day now that she's gone, right? I'm grieving and I'm beating myself up, going, why could I have not done that exact same thing? And it
yeah.
seems like when we have someone that we love that is going through it, we fall into this anger
Yeah.
and and this resentment in a way
Yeah.
that takes all that out. And I've had to talk to a few people that, and they're like, man, don't beat yourself up. You
Yeah.
did everything that you could, and you were doing what you needed to do to protect you.
Yeah.
But however, I'm still confused at it, why we are that way with people that we love so much, but yet people we hardly know, we're there for them at a drop of a hat.
Every time. Every time. I don't know if it's for me that we know these people on a deeper level and we know the human that they can be.
Yeah.
And it's so hard for us to watch them throw away everything when they know exactly what they could be doing. Does that make sense?
No, it makes 100% sense because I knew, and I'm sure you have seen this as well. We know deep down inside they're there. They're
Yeah.
in that person that we love is in there. It's just that there is a dark shell around them that's
Yeah.
that's keeping them hidden.
Why aren't they fighting? Why aren't they fighting?
Yeah. And then we do see a little bit of that fight, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I saw it. I saw that little bit of fight of never giving up, always wanting to, go to rehab, and it there for a long time. It's after the third one, I'm like, why are you going to go? It ain't going to do any good. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I would say.
Oh,
It ain't going to do any good. As soon as you get out, you're right back in it again.
yeah.
But then somebody opened my eyes. Somebody said, hey, at least she hasn't given up. And I went,
Oh,
oh my freaking hell. Why am I not seeing that? Right? Instead,
yes.
I'm letting my anger get back to me again because I had a guest who said went through 18 recovery places before
Mm,
he finally went, I'm done.
yeah.
But he never gave up. And I think those that keep going back, they're not giving up. Maybe there might be a small percent that just do it to get off the streets and get
Yes.
somewhere, get a roof over their head. But I would say the majority want to stop.
Yeah.
And it's hard, I think, for some to get that connection with our higher power, with our creator.
Definitely. It is.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful how different everybody's recovery journey is because we need those stories to relate with others. So I'm praying I'm a one and done. So I've only been to treatment once. But then, like you said, you have those people that go 18 times, but there are people out there that are going to need to hear that, that are like, okay, I've been 9 times. Is 10 times really going to be worth it? And this guy goes, yes, I've been 18 times. And look at me now. It doesn't matter how many times you go back,
Yeah.
keep pushing, keep fighting, and keep trying.
Yeah. Cause I really do feel if you do, and you've got to really have that drive though, I feel inside, right? You got to also know that that creator is there with you
Yes.
the whole time. I know for my wife, she believed heavily. I mean,
Mm,
that he was there. And, I don't know her full story because I also finally, I know her full story, but I also got to the point where when she would try to talk to me, I come to realize with help from other people saying, I'm not the one to be talking to
yeah.
because I don't understand it. I've not walked in the depth of the addiction that she did.
Yeah.
I'm the wrong person to talk to. So
Yes.
and I'm sure you'll concur with this with our listeners that when you do look for help and you're wanting someone to listen, a lot of times family and friends are the wrong ones to reach out.
Yep.
It's the ones who have gone through it and they're where they're at today in life, which is a good place,
Yes.
help you because they know that darkness, they've lived it.
Yes. I found I was seeking for women that have been in similar situations as my past, and even men that were going through like child custody things and seeing how much clean time they've had and they got custody of their kids back. I was looking for those people that were doing the work.
Yeah.
I needed that. I needed people that weren't doing it halfway. I needed them 100% and showing the progress of having that faith in their higher power, their creator, that letting that creator have full control. It's not always easy.
No.
There are some days I want to yell at him and I want to question him, why are you doing this right now? But giving him that full control, the most beautiful rewards come and
Yeah.
it's worth it.
It definitely is. I was talking to somebody. This has probably been about 4 or 5 months ago. It's been a while. Hell, I lose track of time. It could have been a year ago for all I know. But we talked about that, and I talked about throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
Finally kneeling down and telling God, okay, I'm done. I'm throwing in the towel. Right? It's like that Carrie Underwood song, Jesus Take the Wheel. It's
Yes.
your time. You can take the wheel. You take my life. I will just sit as the passenger and I'll just go in the direction you want me to go.
Yeah.
And I started doing that and I started seeing some really cool things happen. And then, of course, as what happens to a lot of us, our ego kicks in.
Yep.
And then pretty soon we're like, I got this. Got it. I know exactly what I need to do now. And it's crazy how quick he is to give us the wheel back.
Oh yeah.
But it's also crazy how quick it slaps us upside the head because before I knew it, I was in a wall, I was in a ditch, I was in a
Yep.
place I didn't want to be. And I'd have to stop and sit and waller in it and go, damn it. I let my freaking ego get the best of me again. And now here I am in another freaking spot I don't want to be in.
Yep, exactly. If I'm paying attention to myself, I can feel it in my body. I can feel it in the way I'm treating other people.
Ah,
And sometimes I don't pay attention to that because I want it to be my way so bad.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, we've done that the majority of our life, right? I mean,
yeah.
when I lost my job, I had somebody call me and tell me that I was known around the plant as a liar and a manipulator. And
Mm,
I called BS on it. And I really had to do some deep soul searching and get thinking about it, going, man, he's 100% right.
oh,
That's exactly who I am as an individual.
yeah.
And I don't want to be known that of that type
Mm,
of person, right? I mean, I'm starting to have grandkids and things, and I don't want people to come up to them and say bad things about their papa, or even go to my two daughters. I want to be able to leave a legacy behind of just what a good person that I was, how much I helped other people and how much I
yes.
inspired other people because that's what it takes. And I think that's what we need more of. We
Yeah.
need a lot more of this and leave everyone's political rap to the side. It's all about love and care. I mean, if I got someone that's going to manipulate or lie to me or cheat me or not be, a good person, I'll still love that person, but I'll love them from a distance. But I
Oh,
don't want
you have to.
them in my
Hmm.
life, right? But there are those two that I have a handful that I allow inside my bubble.
Hmm.
And you said it, you were looking for men and women that had already gone through this because why they've lived it. Why do you think a lot of people who even in the music industry, right? When they want to have their own label, they go to people who finally beat the odds of record deals and got their
Yes.
own label, which, if I'm not mistaken, Prince was the one that really started a lot of that. He's like, BS, you guys are taking all my damn money. I'm doing all the work. So you got to find those same type of people that you want to be, not say like them because you're your own person,
Yeah.
but they've walked the same staircase that you've walked.
Yes. Because I have my people that I can call about anything. And I mean, there's different people for different things because I know they've gone through that
Mhm.
and they're not going to judge me in the way that I'm feeling because they've been there. They know how it feels.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, where you've talked to people that have gotten custody of their kids again, that's happened to you as well.
I got custody back this February.
Man, congrats.
Thank
What
you.
that's got to be one hell of a feeling. I mean, I wouldn't know what it's like, but that has got to be amazing.
It was my main focus was me. I wanted to become a better mother and one that was more present and not. I used to scream a lot. I wasn't very, yeah, anyway. But so that was one thing I wanted to work on. I wanted to be more present and there for them. But then my main goal was to get them back. And there were things in my recovery journey that showed me that even if I didn't get my custody back and he got physical sole custody, that is okay. But I wanted to have the physical sole custody. Don't get me wrong. But that's one of the things that I had given to God. I was like, you know what's best for their future. You know what will lead them in the right direction and what will be best. And I got my physical sole custody back.
Wow. Again, it's giving that trust and that faith in that higher power
Yeah.
again, knowing that as long as we do that, it'll turn out the way it's supposed to turn out.
Yes. Exactly.
You know, I had a buddy last night call me and we talk every day, at least a couple times a day. And he calls me, he's like, "Man, how was your fourth?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I was okay. You know, I
Hmm.
didn't do anything. Um, I've been doing things alone so much that I just don't feel like going anywhere alone much anymore. You know, I'd like to have somebody
Yeah.
around, you know, to talk to and stuff." And he goes, "You didn't do anything, huh?" And I'm like, "No, I helped my mom with a few chores, you know, and but the rest of the time I went and did some errands, but the rest of the time I just really it was just kind of just sitting in my own little crap, you know."
Oh.
And he said something that really resonated with me. He goes, "Well, I guess that's exactly where you were supposed to be today." And I went, "Son of a bitch." He's right. Damn.
Yep.
Here I am thinking, you know, it's the 4th of July, which I don't like to be around a lot of people, big crowds. I mean, I can deal
Yeah.
with concerts and going to the fair, carnivals and things like that, but for a short period of time, you know,
Yeah.
I get irritated with certain things, and that's something that I'm working on myself, right? Because they're not doing anything wrong.
Nope.
It's just getting irritated. However, it really opened my eyes when he told me that last night. And he called me this morning and he's like, "Well, how was the rest of your night?" And I'm like, "I was exactly where I was supposed to be." I threw it right back at him, which
Yep.
he was correct. So it's crazy how sometimes we allow life to take us in different places and we don't really open our eyes to go, well, this is just how my day's supposed to be, because I have really gotten to, I do my best not to use the word believe. And the
Hmm.
reason why is because the word lie is in belief.
Yeah.
But my version is our lives are so well scripted, so well scripted. And I really do feel that when we throw in the towel, when we let go of the steering wheel of life and quit trying to control everything that happens, life just seems to smooth out. Now, not saying that we're not going to have what I like to call shit balls being thrown at us, because
All the
we
time.
get shit balls thrown every day at us. We're pretty good sometimes at dodging them, but there are those times where it nails us square
Yeah.
in the face. However, life seems to be, you know, I've gotten to a point, Liz, to where I really don't even remember a lot what happened during my day.
Yeah.
And I really feel it's gotten to the point, why it's gotten to that point is because I just go.
Yeah.
Just go with the flow. I just go wherever the direction, wherever my head tells me. Because there's sometimes I wake up the next day and I'm like, what did I even do yesterday?
Been there. Yep.
And I'm clean. I'm not
Yes, I
hungover or
know.
anything like that. It's like, what did I actually do yesterday?
I tell people all the time, I feel like the cleaner I've gotten, the worse my brain has got. I'm like, you could tell me, somebody can tell me something an hour later, I'm like, uh, I don't remember you saying that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Are you serious? We had a whole conversation." I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like it's gotten worse. I was hoping it'd get better.
Well, thank you for saying that because that sure helps me a lot.
You're not alone.
Good, good. Because I've been the same way for months now, and I know some of it was because of all the surgeries I had in such a
Yeah.
short period of time, right? All the anesthetics and everything, man, really messed me up, and all the painkillers and all that fun stuff. And I've worked hard to definitely make sure that I got off of everything. I've not been on anything. I was on like 10 different types of medications after my
Mm,
amputation, and even a few before. I was popping oxycodone like it was coming out of a Pez dispenser because I couldn't deal with the pain anymore,
yes.
you know. And I told myself once I got to the point where I could deal with the pain, I'm done. And
Yes.
and it took me the last thing I had to get off of was the gabapentin. And
Yeah.
I was told I was going to have to be on it the rest of my life from other amputees. And when I talked to my doctor about it, my doctor goes, "No, that's up to you. If you want to get off of it, we'll wean you off of it. This is how we do
Yeah.
it." And
Yeah.
she worked with me, and sure enough, 3 weeks later, I was completely off, and I haven't taken nothing. I mean, I haven't taken any painkillers, muscle relaxers, gabapentin, aspirin, which I'm supposed to be taking a baby aspirin every day, but I don't like doing that on an empty stomach, even though it's a
Yes.
aspirin. But yeah, I've gotten completely off of everything, and I'm just coming up on 4 months post amputation, and I think a lot of the reason I've never liked prescriptions. Never,
Yeah.
ever. I've always had issues. However, I've interviewed enough people that got injuries that got on oxycodone and that destroyed their life.
That was my first pickup at 13, but I had a dentist that was okay giving it to me.
At 13. Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then it grabs a hold of us, right?
Yep.
I was so damn and determined that was not going to happen to me and I was going to get off of it. I mean, when I got off the oxycodone, I just woke up one day and I said, today's the day I'm done. I didn't even wing off of it. I just said, I'm freaking done. And maybe that's why I was so freaking irritable for a week.
Probably.
Matter of fact, it was a friend of mine that told me that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you're supposed to wing off of that. I'm like, I just said I was done. He goes, well, that's probably why you're so damn irritable. Because he was addicted to, prescriptions and
Yeah.
pills. And and so he knew exactly what he was talking about. And I went, gosh, I didn't put the two to two together. But about a week later, things finally started changing a
Yep.
little bit because I was an irritable son of a gun, and I
Yeah.
just, I was ready to pull my hair out, and I just thought it was because I was just not locked up in a basement. My daughter and son-in-law and grandkids took very good care of me
Yeah.
after I got out of rehab. But just feeling like alone and I'm just stuck in a bedroom. I can't go anywhere unless somebody takes me. And I
Oh,
thought that's what it was. In all reality, it was because I just stopped taking
yeah.
prescriptions.
Yeah. But that's where your willpower shows how much you wanted that. And if you want it that much, it will happen.
Yeah.
And it did.
And it did, thank goodness. Thank
Hmm.
especially with the gabapentin, because when I heard it was going to be, I'd be on it the rest of my life because of the nerves and things, that
Yeah.
you have to cut through when they take your leg. But I was like, oh man, there's no way, because I was not on one freaking pill really at all until I started having issues with my foot. So
Yeah.
where is life for you today? I mean, really, Liz, in a short period of time, you've come a freaking long ways.
Yeah. I have. Um, like I put in my bio, my relationships with men, I just seeked anybody that gave me attention. And so for 2 years, I did me. I did, I mean, I hung out with men. I have a ton of guy friends. One of my best friends is a guy. And, but I didn't do the dating. Do, I didn't kiss anybody. It was about me. I needed to figure out my boundaries. And it's funny because there was a guy that was trying to hook up with me, but I listen to my body a lot, like intuition. And the more I listened, the healthier I got. Because I was able to hold those boundaries and walk away. So my life today, it's everything I wanted and more. I finally have a beautiful home with a man that treats me right, that loves my 5 children. Um, I have so many friends in recovery. I take NA meetings into 2 different treatment centers. Um, I'm an H&I. Like my life is based around recovery because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. I have to have that. Um, my kids are happy. I have most of my relationships back. One of them is a little rocky. Some days she loves me and some days she doesn't, and that's okay. But she's also working with a therapist, so things get brought up and she's working through those. And then once she's worked through those, I've noticed it's okay. But I have to be patient with the people in my life because I have a sister as well that is our relationship's good. It's not where I want it to be, but when the time is ready, she'll talk to me about it. Um, but that's what I did to them. I hurt them. I put them in pain, and I have to allow them that time to heal themselves for when they're ready. Um, I've had a lot of jobs in recovery, working at treatment centers. Um, Currently, right now, I don't. I have been looking and not sure where I want to go. I've talked about being a therapist, an addiction therapist. So I think I just need to, I've had a lot of self doubt, and that's the adversary. That's him going, you're not worth it. The worthlessness that I felt my whole life. Um, I've been in a little rut. And so putting that faith back in my creator is what I need to do. And I'm hoping next week when I go to it's called Sundance, that I can find some peace because I am stuck. I've been stuck for a little bit. But life is good. My kids are happy. I'm happy. I'm sober almost 3.5 years. So
Wow.
yeah.
It's crazy too, as we give our faith and our love into our creator, a higher power. It's crazy because at one time in our life, the opposition did have a hold of us pretty hard.
Hmm.
And he fought like hell to hold us there and keep us there. And how quickly he can come back, knows we're at a low spot in our life.
Yeah. He knows exactly what will get us all into that low and lower.
Yep, and he knows how to use our emotions against us,
Yep.
to where, like you just said, where we start feeling hopeless, that we don't matter anymore,
Hmm.
and that's when we start going into that opposite direction. He starts slowly just bringing us back,
Yep.
However, my version is just even like what you said, as long as we keep that faith, as long as we know, and as long as we stay strong and plant
Yeah.
our feet as solid as we possibly can. Not saying we won't slip back, because we do start slipping a little.
Hmm.
However, he'll bring us right back. I look at it as it's more of our tests, right? He's
Yes.
really testing our faith. He's really testing to see, hey, because you know when I lost my leg, I could have been very, very angry,
Yeah.
and I was, but not with him, and which is crazy, is because as it was getting to that point, what I call my Holy Spirit whisper in my head is I just kept hearing, be prepared, be
Hmm.
prepared, prepare yourself. I knew before the time even came, I was going to lose my leg.
Mm,
I just freaking knew it. I could feel it. Even though I had an amazing doctor who did everything she could to save
yeah.
it. Something told me though that blessings was going to come out of it.
Hmm.
And I said this in a talk. I spoke in April in front of about 35, 40 realtors. And I told him it was so crazy. I was more nervous going in for my bypass because they were going to try a bypass to try to save it than I was when they went in the day they took my leg.
Mm,
And it's crazy. I had such a calmness over me, such a peacefulness that was in me. And even when I got done out of the hospital and I went to recovery, then out of recovery, and I moved in with my daughter and her husband and my three grandkids, which, my gosh, that's the best prescription God ever gave me right there.
mm-hmm.
Um, I was telling my daughter when I was getting ready to move back home, I said, I said that a lot of blessings, I felt that a lot of blessings was come out of it. And I'm like, I can look back and see the blessings that happened.
Yeah.
My daughter was remodeling her kitchen and her living room. And it got to where I could finally get upstairs. When I first started just going up on my butt, going up a bunch of stairs. And then until I felt like I was strong enough to start going up on my crutches. And I'd go up there and I'd go down the stairs into her garage where the saw and everything's at. And she'd go take measurements of the baseboards and I'd go out there and I'd cut the
Mm,
angles and everything and she'd go up and double check it and then she'd install it and different things. And then she had some new handles she wanted on her cupboards and her drawers. And I'm like, well, dad will come up, make a template, and I'll put all those on for you. You know, I get to go out and play cornhole. My youngest granddaughter comes in and says, I had just, taken my socket off and things like that. And she goes, Papa, would you like to come out and play cornhole with me? And at first, my thought was, no, I just took my socket off.
yeah.
And at that time, it was very painful to put on. And I'm like, I don't want to put it on. And then I thought, you know what? This is time. This is time God's given me with my grandkids.
Yes.
And so I said, yeah. So I've got pictures of it. I'm out there with one crutch. My granddaughter brought a chair over for me so I could sit down right next to the pallet or whatever the hell they call it with the hole in
Oh,
it that you throw the bean bags. And I sat there and threw the bean bag. We played till dark. We played for a couple hours.
oh, that's
And
something she'll remember.
oh my gosh, yeah. And then their family dog, who they were all very close to, the dog was amazing, was passing away because of cancer. And so
Mhm.
they had to put the dog down. And they did it at home. They had the person come in their home, so they all got to be around. But my daughter was telling me that her and her husband was talking one night in bed, talking about how the girls, my two granddaughters, always fought who got to sleep with the dog that night, whose room the dog got to be in, right? Well, my youngest granddaughter gave up her room for me to stay in, and she went in and stayed in my other granddaughter's bedroom.
Oh,
The dog got to sleep with both of them for a
yeah.
month, and what a blessing that was for them. So, see, I get emotional talking about it because those were so many blessings. That is time I would have never ever gotten
Yeah.
with my family if it wasn't for the amputation. And I feel like even though we've always been close, I feel like it brought us even closer together. And both my daughters have even said, Dad, you have inspired us so much. And that means a lot when you hear that coming from your kids. We're supposed to say that to them to help boost them up. And it was turned on me.
Yeah.
And so the feeling that I got about the blessings wasn't wrong. I mean, God was completely right when he said, be prepared, your leg's going to go, but there's going to be a lot of blessings that come out of
Yeah.
it. And they're still happening to this day.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Every,
you,
yeah, from every hard situation I've been through, everything I've had to grow and push and learn through, there's always those lessons to learn to grow from the blessings, like you said, the blessings that come from it. And those are what we have to grasp onto.
Yeah. Yeah, and when we're stuck in our ego and ourself in the 3D world outside of us, those are the things that we're missing.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we talked about earlier how we go through our day and a lot of times we don't even remember what we did during the day. But however, I think it's because our focus is somewhere else. Our
Yeah.
focus is on helping as many people as we can and also making sure we're making the right decisions for ourselves.
Yes.
Because it sounds like to me from listening to you, you and I are in the same spot. For the very first time, we are actually in love with who we are as an
Yeah.
individual. We love ourselves. Doesn't matter what anybody else thinks because now we can admit more love. Actually, the love we now give is even stronger because we have that love for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems to keep going in that direction. And even though the opposition likes to throw a boulder in our way here and there, our creator always seems to find a way for us to go around it or go
Yep.
through it. However, and it goes with how I got to meet you, right, Liz? I mean, I'm sure we've seen each other on social media and,
Yeah.
posts and here and there, and we've liked things and stuff like that. And one day I'm at the gym with my daughter. I was going to the gym with her because I was living there.
Yeah.
And this lovely lady comes walking up and says, "Are you Al?" And I says, "I am." Well, usually I like to say, "Well, I was this morning when I woke up. I could be somebody different now." But anyway, she goes, "I follow you on social media. You do a podcast, don't you?" And I says, "I do." And I says, "Do you listen?" And she goes, "I've heard a couple episodes." And then that's when she told me about you.
Yeah.
And now here we are doing a show. So I look at that, there's another blessing right there, right? I get to meet someone amazing, someone incredible, somebody who has worked their ass off to put their life back in order and who is out there loving and giving to other people if it wasn't for that time.
Yeah. I love that you said that because I am so grateful. I have parents that aren't ashamed of me, that are willing to go any level to help me. Um, they, it, my growth, I've seen so much growth in them towards addicts and alcoholics.
Yeah. It's because they've gotten to understand a lot more, right? Because of your recovery.
Yeah.
Another blessing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. One of the biggest.
Yeah. Because like you say, we burn bridges. We burn so
Yeah.
many bridges. And I was talking to somebody again, I don't know how long ago, but I was telling that person, I said, the ones who are meant to come back into your life will come back to your life.
Mhm.
The ones who are meant not won't.
Yeah.
You need to be okay with that. And you don't need to go after them
Yeah.
trying to bring them back because that's not the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah. I read something that said if you're fighting to keep something in your life that creator is trying to get rid of and you are keeping it there, what's truly meant for you can't come in because you're not letting go of what you know you're supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that one hits me hard because it was hard to let go of my wife.
Yeah.
It was really hard because I was with her 18 years. I was with her
Mhm.
so long and we had so many great memories. And I had other people tell me that who have been in the addiction world, right? Who is in long-term recovery themselves. It's like she's holding you back. She's holding you back. And it's because I still continue to be addicted to her addiction.
Yeah.
As hard as I was fighting not to, I really have to admit I was still battling it.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It is so hard to let that person go that you care so deeply about. However, it's completely right. We can't move on to the next thing. I mean, when God's when God's pulling something away or shutting a door or locking a door for you not to go through, there's a reason behind it, even
Yep.
though we don't understand. And
Yep.
that's a hard thing for us here to figure out. It's so freaking difficult.
Yes, it is. Because I was talking to a lady the other day that has been in similar situations with, like I have with men. And she was explaining a few things. And so when she got done talking at the end of the class, I walked up to her and I asked her, "How does your body feel when you're around him?" And she told me exactly how my body felt when I was around these certain people. And I was like, you've got to listen to that. That is, I don't know, God, higher power. That is also your body saying, this is not right.
Yeah.
We don't like to listen. Not always.
No, it is because our ego kicks in,
Yep.
right? Or our codependence, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a fixer. I think I still am a fixer, but I have better boundaries.
Yeah. Me, I was definitely a rescuer and a fixer.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I fell into, well, not my first wife, the mother of my daughters, but the other two after that was pretty
Yeah.
much I was the knight in the shining armor on my white horse. I'm going to come and save you. And then a few years down the road, my armor's tarnished and my horse can't walk anymore.
Yep.
and,
Exactly.
and I'm tired. And
Yep.
it's like, why can't I help you? And again, it's hard even with my past wife, it was so hard because I did everything. I actually remember telling one of her therapists when she went to Phoenix recovery once, she sat in and talked to me and she goes, Al, I'm telling you right now, there's not a damn thing you can do to help her. And I looked at her square in the eye and pointed my finger at her face and I said, you fucking watch me. I will help her beat this. Took me 2 years after that to go, shit, she was right.
Yep.
There's not a
Yep.
damn thing I can do.
Nope.
Yeah.
You can't shake them. You can't scream at them. You can't do anything. You can put the perfect little plan in front of them. There's nothing we can do if they
Yeah.
don't do it.
The advice though that you gave her was so true because we really have to listen to inside. I won't say the person's name on the air, but there is someone that whenever I get around right now, that's exactly, I mean, I don't feel the bad things. It's
Yeah.
like I just feel there is such an amazing energy that comes from her
Yeah.
that just puts me in a whole different trance, I guess you
Yeah.
can say. I mean, seriously, it just and then I find myself thinking about this individual all the time. And I have a lot of lady friends.
Yeah.
And I have some lady friends that I mean are just freaking just knockout gorgeous. However, that feeling's not been there, right? It's
Hmm.
that we're friends and we know that we're friends, and I'm good with that. But this certain individual, there's just something that just that energy, man, is just my gosh. You know, I'm like, where is this coming from? Because it's a feeling that I haven't had in so long, in
Oh,
so long, but it's hard. It's hard because so many women out there have been treated very poorly by certain men out there. And unfortunately, some of them have been so bad, a lot of women think that's how all men are, and we're not.
yeah.
So a lot of times us good guys, we get the shaft. We get screwed because of that fear, right? And it doesn't matter what we do on our end. It's if they want to see a red flag, they're gonna find a red
Oh, we
flag.
will. We'll find
And,
it.
and there always is going to be red flags, right? I mean, if I had 20 things that I wanted to check off to find a woman, I would not ever check off all 20 things.
Nope.
Spend the rest of my life and it will not happen. I'll die alone.
Yep.
However, if I could get half of it, hey, I'm doing pretty good,
Yeah.
and it goes the same way, but again, what we see in somebody as a red flag and we find somebody else that doesn't have that red flag, believe me, they've got 10 other red
Oh,
flags.
yeah. Grass isn't greener over there.
Oh, absolutely not. I've tried. I've jumped the fence before thinking it was greener, and all I landed in was a pile of shit.
Yep. Definitely.
Yep.
Been there as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. But again, it's those life lessons. You talked about lessons, seeing the lessons behind it, everything, and
Mhm.
and it is. And again, my version of it is too, is God will continue to put us through the same things over and over and over till we find
Yes.
a lesson. And then once we do, we move on to the next one.
Yep. And I've noticed with some of mine, it got harder and harder every time. It hurt even more, those lessons, because he's like, all right, you don't want to listen? Here you go again. but this one's going to hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's like okay, you stood there and I punched you in the face once. Hey, now I'm going to punch you in the face twice. And then
Yes.
you finally get to where it's okay. I'm gonna hit you in the face 20 times. Let's see if you
Yes.
get this, right?
Okay, okay, I get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nose is all bloody and everything. So I remember telling a good friend of mine who were still good friends. He is a very, very good LDS follower, but it's somebody that I can trust. He's not like the normal. He's totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go golf with this guy and drink beer and smoke cigarettes and tell dirty jokes. And one day I realized the girl who I was dating, who was my wife, my past wife, was her bishop. And I'm going, oh my gosh. But he loved me for who I was as an individual.
Yes.
But I told him once, I said, partner, I says, I really think God's mad at me.
Mm,
And he goes, let me tell you, he called me Tiger all the time. He says, Tiger, let me tell you something. We have a loving God. He's not mad at you.
yeah.
He may be trying to teach you some lessons or get you to open your eyes to learn the lesson, but he's not
Yeah.
mad at you. And he goes, if you ever think he's mad at you, that's the opposition
Oh,
stepping.
for sure.
And the way he put that to me really opened my eyes.
I have a hoodie that says love like Jesus because he is so compassionate, full of grace, all of that. Because, I mean, with everything I've done, he never once walked away from me. It was myself that walked away because he loves so unconditionally that I want to love like he does because in my what I've done, I have no right to judge anybody.
Yeah. It's like that. I don't know, is it a poem or the saying, footprints in the sand?
I
Have
know
you
what you're
noticed that?
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, where somebody's talking to him and he's like, you left me, why did you leave me during the hard times? It's like, I
I
never left
didn't.
you. There's only the one set of footprints in the sand, and it's because I was carrying you.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I got the chills.
happens, right? Yeah, I've got them over here at the same time, but
Yep.
that's it. That's it. I mean, how many times has he carried us without us even realizing it? However, now that we open our eyes a little bit more and just go with the flow of things, sometimes it might take us a little while to realize
Yeah.
it, but we still realize it a lot sooner than we ever would have before that,
Yeah.
wow, he got me through this. I
Yep.
know he did.
Carried me 90% of it probably.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Because, I think you said it in your bio. We can't do this alone.
no.
It
But
takes too much more.
a team for sure. And that's not just my creator, that's those like you said that person that just makes you feel good. Like I have those people. We don't even have to be saying anything. We could sit there for an hour and a half, but being around that person makes me feel good. And I know they love me. You have to have the human, like the physical people too, that are good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well put. And again, it's hard. It is
Mhm.
really hard. There are certain people really, if you have certain people in your life that really drain you,
Yeah.
don't say the right things to you, belittle you, make remarks, even if they're making remarks about somebody else, right? It kind of shows the character. Now, we're all guilty of it. I'm not saying I'm innocent of it because I still sometimes fall into that same old pattern and I have to stop and go, okay, wait a minute. Nope, I gotta change this. But we really do. There are people we have to really get out of our life
Yeah.
to help us if we want to really move forward and move in a right direction. There are just some that say I love you, but I'm gonna have to love you from a distance.
Yes.
Like I said
I have a
earlier.
lot of them.
Yeah,
If it's making me feel ick, or if I just am so uncomfortable in that position where I'm at, I will not put myself in that position anymore.
good for you.
So selfish, might be a little selfish, but I have to be.
Hey, but that's a good selfish, right? Because it's the selfish of loving yourself.
Yeah.
and that's a hard word, the selfish, right? Because we actually do have to be selfish, but there's different types of selfish. We do have to love ourselves first. I mean, we'll go back to many people use this. It's the airplane thing, the jet thing, right? When they're
Mhm.
walking you through all the safety stuff. If we happen to lose cabin pressure, mask will fall from above your head. Put the
Mhm.
mask on yourself before you help someone else.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because if we're struggling, we can't help somebody else that's
Nope.
struggling. So that selfishness we have to have. We have to have that love for ourselves first.
Yeah.
Because when we give that love, it amplifies so much more. And however, there's also the selfishness is, oh, you're cold and you need a coat. Sorry, you didn't bring one. I got mine. Now that's a
Yep.
different type of selfishness, right? To where screw you. You're a
Yep.
grown woman. Bring your own damn coat next
Yep.
time.
I've told my
No.
kids 5 times, bring your hoodie with. They didn't bring it. Oh, you want mine? Hmm.
Yeah.
Put your arms in your sleeves.
Yeah. Learn your
I
lesson.
told you 5 times.
Yeah. Well, again, it's all part of those lessons that we learn when we find ourselves in a different part of life. And we continue to learn, and I think we continue to get stronger, and I think we continue to grow. Will we ever get there? Probably not. More than likely, I've said on this show hundreds of times, there is no finish line when it comes to working on ourselves. We can reach goals, but I love the saying that when you climb the mountain and you finally reach the top, you find yourself at the bottom of another one.
Yep.
And that's how life goes. We are continuously hitting these plateaus and then starting up higher and higher and higher.
Yep.
And I never thought of this until now. Maybe that mountains is what's leading to the heavens. And the closer, the more mountains we just keep climbing, the higher, the closer that we become to our creator.
I love that.
I never thought of that before. Huh. Guess it's
Yeah.
a way of looking at it, right?
Yes, it is. And I like it because I've never thought of it that way either.
Yeah, holy cow. I've said that, like I said, 100 times, and it's the first time that finally dawned on me. It's like, maybe we're getting closer and closer to our creator
Yeah.
and we're getting stronger.
Yeah.
Could be. Well, my gosh, Liz, gosh, we have come up on the hour already. It's amazing how quick this goes. It has been a real honor just sitting here and talking with you. This is what I love about doing this show and having the platform that I have. It's just sitting down and having a conversation with individuals and hearing their stories and what they've been through in their life. And I've had some guests that have come on and they've shared 100% of their story, and others comes in and they just share little bits and pieces. But um, I do feel that every show is meant to go the way that it's supposed to go, even if we chase squirrels. If it's a message that's supposed to go out, I really believe it's going out for a reason. And without a doubt, today has definitely been one of those shows. Everything I think that was shared by you is something that somebody out there definitely needs to hear.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Do you have anything else, anything inspirational or a suggestion or something that you could share with our listeners?
Don't give up. Like we talked about in the beginning. If it's going to take you 30 freaking times to go to treatment, do it. I would rather, we, all of us in recovery, would rather see you in treatment than on the streets. Don't keep grasping onto those things that are what are bringing you down. Do what feels good.
I love it. I love it. Last night I was sitting down and I was watching some old episodes of Cops, and some of those are pretty hilarious. But some guy has been, I don't know, the cops knew who he was. That's how many times he's been arrested. And being on the other side, not knowing what's happened in that person's life and why they're where they are at in their life, at the time it's like, what keeps somebody going back to that life where they literally are miserable and constantly in trouble or going to jail or just
Yeah.
struggling, you know? Um,
Trying to get healthy and trying to get clean and to heal the things from your past is painful. And I mean, for me, it was to go remember to push through everything that I had to feel to heal, it was exhausting. And I don't know if it's easier for him just to go back and sit in that pity, poor me, instead of picking up and I don't know, that accountability too. Like you have to be 100% accountable
Yeah.
for your actions. And sometimes that's hard. I know it still is for me.
I think that's definitely one that the majority of us that are walk this planet have an issue with is that accountability. It's much
Yeah.
easier for us to point a finger,
Yeah.
a lot less painful.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Well, Liz, again, thank you. It's an honor and it's a blessing to have you on the show. And it's an honor to call you a friend. I mean, seriously, and I'm so
You too.
blessed that I got to meet your mother at the gym and had this opportunity to meet you as well. And I'm sure we'll run into each other somewhere. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you're involved in the recovery community. I'm surprised we haven't. We've probably been at some of the same events together
Yes.
before and not even realized it, but I'm sure we'll have this opportunity one day to really meet in person, hopefully, and
Yeah.
hopefully, I would like to invite you also to our Healing Utah Success Summit on October 4th. If you'd
Okay.
like to come, you can come as my guest. I will give you
Okay.
and allow one other person to come as my guest. It's at the Miller Free Enterprise Building in Sandy, again on Saturday, October
Okay.
4th. So plenty of time to get it in your calendar. But come out and
I'll put it in today.
listen to some amazing speakers. You may know Manny Lopez. He's coming out and he's speaking.
Yes.
Alan Farringer, who helped Dave DeRocher get TOSA going and then went and moved over to Red Barn. He's
Okay.
speaking. My good friend Joe Valentine, who we met at our April 2023 event. As a matter of fact, that event, according to him, saved his life that day because he
Mm.
was looking at and in his life it didn't have a lot, and he and I now are just like best friends. you know um Gosh, we've got Tina Erdman that's coming out and speaking, and then Amber Kay. Everyone knows freaking Amber. She's like a Tiffany Nacarado, right? Everyone knows her, so, but she's actually going to be speaking for the very first time. So
Yes.
it's a great event. It's filled with a lot of love and compassion and caring, and we get some great sponsors. Matter of fact, Ardu in Provo just signed on as one of our sponsors. We've got them coming on. A lot of times, Clean Slate Utah is there. Red Barn has been there a lot, which is now John Vulcan, but they have actually signed
Yep.
up as well. They're going to be there again. But it's just a great event. So we would love to have you. And again, I'm offering you 2 tickets as my guest to come and spend the day with us and just meet some amazing individuals. And I'm sure there'll be people there that you already know.
Yeah. I would love to be there. So thank
Awesome.
you very much.
Absolutely. Well, guys, again, thank you so much. Thank you to our new sponsors, Emergo Academy. Guys, seriously, when they don't talk about addiction. They talk about the brain first approach, and there's a reason behind it because many of us know the addiction, all that is the band-aid. All we're doing is trying to cover up whatever it is that we don't want to feel. When we're able to get inside ourselves and really get thinking, that brain first approach is huge. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's just not helped me become a crisis and recovery coach, but it's really helped me with my everyday life. And I tell you what, since my amputation and the loss, of someone that I love dearly, if it wasn't for the training that I took from them, I don't know where I'd be to this day, in all honesty. So, guys, check them out, emergoacademy.com. Dave and Susan Kenny, they are freaking amazing. And again, thank you to all our guests, all our past guests. And we're going to leave you with this as we do at the end of every show, guys. Remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.